and an end to your suffering. Dr. Fernando Ranella. He's a medical doctor and the founder of the Center for Back Pain Management, where he specializes in the elimination of back pain and sciatica quickly, easily, without surgery or any pain medication whatsoever. Dr. Ranella accepts Medicare and most insurance. He has a location in Delray and one in Fort Lauderdale. Call 561-819-6325. That's 561-819-6325.
AM 1470, WNN, with more of what you need to know. Tune in for the Food for Thought radio show with Peter Leonard, Thursday evenings at 6 on South Florida's Health and Wealth Network, AM 1470, WNN.
When it comes to your health, nobody does it better. South Florida's Health and Wealth Radio, AM 1470, WNN.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
Welcome to Trento Vision, where bad ideas get pulverized and the truth will set you free. Trento Vision is hosted by Tom Trento, an activist street fighter with earned degrees in law enforcement, theology, and philosophy. Listen and watch every weekday at 2 p.m. on AM 1470 WNN and TrentoVision.com. Now, let's take a peek at Tom's view of the world. Here's Tom Trento.
Come on in, everybody. Take a peek. Actually, sit down, relax, and spend the next 60 minutes with us because we have a fascinating show for you. We are simply amazed at the, train wreck, implosion that's happening in Charlotte, North Carolina. And unless you have been locked in your basement, and you're the crazy uncle that's locked in the basement, you may not be aware of what's going on in the United States, in particular in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Tom. Break in for 1 second. I got to know something. Do you have some type of crystal ball?
Yes. I'll reveal the magic behind our show a little
Ouija
later.
Board? Because your prognosis, your psychic skills from yesterday to today are just amazing.
They're just amazing. Yeah, I know. Is that because yesterday, that voice you heard is J. Mark Campbell, who makes all this electronic video stuff work in a radio studio. You'll hear another voice also. CJ, our show content producer. I think you saw her yesterday. We may let you see these guys again today. But what we're doing here is predicting on one day what will occur the next day, and then telling you how great our prediction was. Yesterday, we told you that the Democrat Party. I am learning to say Democrat
Party,
as opposed to Democratic Party. The Democrat Party was going off the rails big time on a couple of issues, and we also predicted that they gotta. We've entitled today's show "God to the Rescue." God has come to the rescue of the Democrat Party. Everybody can now rest and go home. God is here. But we're gonna walk you through some of the absurdity and hypocrisy that is being played out on the global stage through the capability of satellite television and stuff we're doing. That's our show today. God to the rescue for President Obama. Or President Obama has rescued God in any event. But I want to give you a little background as to who we are, because we're gaining new listeners and viewers every day. Today's our fourth show, count them 1, 2, 3, 4. We started on Labor Day, and we've been laboring every day, ladies and gentlemen, to bring you unique programming. And you got to understand, we have somebody on the line already. Okay, we will take calls today. Oh, Alan. Okay,
Alan.
We will. I have my glasses on. We will take calls today. Here and there. We'll take this gentleman in a minute. Alan will take you in a minute or two. But let me give you a little feel for what we're doing when we bring you into our lives. The show's called Trento Vision. like television, but through the years, I have had a lot of experiences and a unique education and done some crazy work. And many of you know that I direct an organization called The United West. The United West is a nonprofit educational organization dedicated to counterterrorism issues, to fighting Islamic Jihad here in the U.S. and other places, to fighting the Muslim Brotherhood. Oh, wait a minute. You want to talk about predictions?
Yeah, our allies.
February of 2011, we predicted, as Tahrir Square was in flames, that, the Muslim Brotherhood would take over Egypt and then set up themselves to attack Israel at some point. Oh, what an amazing prediction that was. We'll show you a video on that and prove that.
And also our prediction how the Muslims here in Florida and everywhere else throughout the country are going to team up with the Democrats. Everybody called us crazy when we said that.
Oh, the Muslims are teaming up with the Democrats. Well. See, when you abandon God, you open the door for anything. And understand, we are experts on Islamic doctrine, Islamic theology. God, as articulated in the U.S. Constitution and the Republican platform, is not the God of the Islamic world. Allah and God are two different things. Very, very important. But we'll do a theology lesson a little later. But the point is, we've been fighting bad people and bad ideas, pulverizing, as the intro says, bad ideas for quite a while. But we decided to launch this venture in particular to educate voters all over the United States for the event that's going to take place 61 days from today. Somebody do the math. What date was it 61 days ago? I think that'd be an interesting figure to show you guys and to let you hear, the listeners, how quickly 61 days goes by. And we guarantee that in 62 days, the world's going to be a different place either way. But we launched Trento Vision to go into some of the bad ideas in the Democrat Party. What about the Republican Party? Start your own show if you want to do that, okay? This is our show. We're dealing with those in charge, those with the key to the asylum, or actually those who are in the asylum who are leading the charge. And we're going to deconstruct their arguments. We're going to investigate some of their positions. And when they go off the rails like they did in the past few days regarding our favorite nation next to America, Israel, because they're brave people defending our national security, we're going to let you know about it. But right now I'd like to bring in our first caller, Mr. Allen. Allen, are you there? And what can we do for you here at Trento Vision?
Hello, Tom. Thank you very much for having me on, and good luck to you. I love you guys. I love you. I love CJ. I love everything that you're doing, and I'm glad we're working together as a team of Jews and Christian Zionists so that we can enlighten people who don't listen to us, who read the Sun Sentinel, who read the New York Times, who don't understand what's going on in the world. So it's a privilege and an honor to be associated with you.
Well, you and I hang out a bit, don't we?
Yeah.
You're a troublemaker. Let me tell you, you are a troublemaker.
I have to be associated with you.
Yeah. Alan's a New Yorker, and on occasion, he and I stand next to each other and line up next to any liberal Democrats who choose to stand next to us, and we formally debate them in different settings. We've done it several times with, hey, you see the news with Mark Alan Siegel, Alan?
Yeah. You know, I'm always concerned about people, especially guys who go by three names.
Hey, J. Mark Campbell.
Yeah. We got J. Mark Campbell here. Watch out. But
with Debbie Wasserman, Schultz, Mark Allen.
That's right. You stay tuned to the show. You watch it on your computer or listen to it on the radio, because we have a little surprise for you later. We're gonna bring, through the magic of television, our friend Mark Alan Siegel, the head of the Democrat Party here in Palm Beach County. We're going to bring him to our viewers, to our listeners. And next Wednesday, I believe, Alan, you and I are debating Rabbi Barry Silver, who's pretty good on Israel and then totally off the charts and everything else. And what's that other guy's name, Alan?
Jack...
Schiffel or Schifflin or something.
Jack Schiffel.
Yeah, well, whatever. Line them up, you know. That will be at the Broward County Library on St. Andrews Boulevard or whatever. We'll
100 St. Andrews.
100 St. Andrews. Next Wednesday night, 7 o'clock, open to the public, limited seating. We're debating on the issue of Democrat or Republican control of the United States from a military and economic perspective and the role of Israel and all that. That's next week.
And listen for a preview of the debate next week, as Alan Bergstein will be a guest on your show.
Oh, that's right.
Prior to the
what
debate.
Day is he on?
Actually, he's going to be on Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're going to do a debate preview on Wednesday.
Yes. Wear a new shirt, okay? Because you're on television here, Trento Vision. All right, Alan, thank you very much. We will take calls today. Folks, if you're watching the show, and you should be watching the show, if you're not listening to it, you can do both at TrentoVision.tv. And if you're looking at the video window, right underneath the video window is the call-in number. We will take some calls today. Because we like you and we want you to talk. But right now, we've entitled this hour, God to the Rescue for the Democrat Party. Right now, our little segment's entitled, Bye Bye God. We're going to recap how, with a stroke of the pen, the omnipotent, omnipresent, eternal creator of the universe disappeared from the Republican Party. Let's show our first video. Our first clip, news clips, basically. And this is great. This is a fascinating one. You probably have seen it in the last 24 hours because they're playing it all over the place. As you know, the Democrats did not include the word Jerusalem or God in their platform, which is their philosophical and fundamental policy foundation to what they plan to do in the world and in the United States. Well, all hell broke loose because God wasn't there. All hell broke loose because God wasn't there. You got that? I was wondering if anybody in the audience would get that.
I got it.
And what happened next was they said goodbye to God. Well, then God had to come back to, I don't know, we're trying to figure out.
Who took that out anyway?
We're trying to figure.
One omnipotent ruler took that out.
We're trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
But take a look at this, because in terms of damage control, the Democrats tried to reinstate, to find God and bring him back. Come on, God, we want you back in the picture. And we're going to do it by a voice vote. Take a look at the voice vote, then we'll discuss it.
The matter requires a two-thirds vote in the affirmative. All those delegates in favor say aye. All those delegates opposed say no. In the opinion of the... Let me do that again. All of those delegates
what you're saying
in favor say aye.
I'm talking to the radio audience.
All those delegates opposed say no.
I can't.
I guess.
Let's just.
You've got a rule, and then you've got to let them do what they're going to do. Rules.
I'll do that one more time. All those delegates in favor say aye. All those delegates opposed say no. In the opinion of the chair, two-thirds have voted in the affirmative. The motion is adopted, and the platform has been amended as shown on the screen. Thank you very much. Thank you. The matter requires a two-thirds.
Okay. We showed, we'll hold that off. We showed a little clip that occurred yesterday in Charlotte in their main venue. And the way the damage control, folks, was implemented to reinstate God was by a voice vote on the floor to the delegates. The delegates are selected in every state, and based upon the number of congressional seats you have and other factors, you're awarded so many delegates. And typically the party either selects or there is an election process. But the delegates are the people that come and take votes on nominating the individual and changing the platform. Is that up right now?
Yeah, I just put our friend Muhammad.
All right, yeah, leave Muhammad up there. We're going to talk about him for a minute.
Yeah.
So yesterday, Antonio Villaraigosa, the mayor of the City of Angels, Los Angeles, he was moderating, and he's one of the chairmen of the committee and the party. He was moderating the voice vote to modify the platform to reinstate both God and Jerusalem. I got a magic disappearing microphone. And he took, and watch this tonight too on your own TVs at home. He took a voice vote. He simply went out and said, okay, ladies and gentlemen, and they had up on the screen the actual changes to the word, to the copy, up on the screen, and they took a voice vote to approve it. And you need a 2/3. Now, out of 100 people, class, out of 100 people, how much is 2/3? Bzz, bzz.
More than half?
Okay.
More than half?
It's more than half. It's
More than
about
half.
66.
It's about 66
66.6
66 and change.
And change.
Yeah.
And so you need, out of 100 people, 66. Now, I happen to have 3 people sitting in the studio with me. All right? we're going to do a test, a real live forensic test. I want 2 of you. Can you hear me over there? Or you got earplugs in? Okay, you're good.
A little bit of a delay there.
All right, take your earplugs out. I want a voice vote. I want 2 people, 66% to say A, and 33% to say nay. Okay? How many in favor of the motion?
Hey!
Oh, you're supposed to.
I'm with him?
Yeah, you're with him. Yes.
He told me I wasn't with him.
Okay.
He said, no, you're not with me, CJ.
We're going to do it both ways. It's live television, folks. How many in favor of the motion?
Hey!
How many opposed?
Nay.
Okay. Now let's reverse that, okay?
Okay.
How many opposed to the motion? You guys.
Nay!
How many for the motion?
Yay!
Okay. It's pretty easy for me to hear that the majority ruled in that case.
Yes.
But for me to say that the 33% guy won is called voter fraud, okay? What you saw yesterday at the DNC was a graphic example of what we're all concerned about, voter fraud by Democrats in the coming weeks, and starting with absentee ballots, military ballots, all of that. Well, you saw voter fraud yesterday, and there's no other way to conclude that that was not voter fraud than to simply see what it was. I think we have another clip. Are you ready
Tom,
with that one?
by the way, the ayes have it. When he announced it, it was on the teleprompter before the voting was finished.
Oh, this was great.
Okay? He was reading it off the teleprompter while everybody was booing and saying that the ayes had it. It was already approved before they voted.
And our friend Muhammad, he was really clear.
Well, yeah. I'm not a big fan of Antonio Villaraigosa, the mayor of Los Angeles, going out there quite a bit. I felt sorry for the guy. I really did.
Oh, that was sad.
He was trapped.
I mean,
he was trapped.
He was trapped like
his
a
first
rat.
time, he goes,
what do I do?
Okay, everybody. He thought it was going to be real easy, and there were more nays.
Yeah.
No, we don't want God. We don't want Jerusalem in the platform. There's more of that.
It took 3 tries.
Then he goes, okay,
let's
we're going to
try
do
it
this
again.
over again.
Yeah.
And the way he projected himself as a speaker, okay, we're going to do this over again. Like, everybody, please vote the right way. And there were more nays again.
Each time it got more nays,
He got the order.
Yeah.
Valerie Jarrett, our sources tell us, got the order to him to say, you better get Jerusalem and God back in there. We didn't want it in there. You better put it back in there. And
the Michigan delegation was very, very upset.
It was a no the second time. And now Villaraigosa had to make a decision. And he didn't know what to do, and the parliamentarian comes along, and she goes, you better just do it, and whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, just push it under the table. We'll figure it out later.
This thing was so screwed up, so he asks for a 3rd vote.
Yeah.
And on the 3rd vote, it's no, we don't want God. We don't want Jerusalem in our platform. And he goes, as you were just saying, CJ, he goes, in the opinion of the chair, he was the chairman, the ayes have it, God in Jerusalem is saved. President Obama saved Jerusalem and God. But then, put our friend Mohammed back up there. But then the cameras cut to Mohammed. And for all of you Democrats who believe that the the Muslim world is your friend, all Jews in particular, believe that the Muslim world is your friend. Take a look at Mohammed here. How do you think Mohammed was voting yesterday? Look at the little sign. It says Arab Democrat. This guy was ferocious in his statements, rejecting God and rejecting Israel. Why? Because God is not God to him. Allah is God, and you don't put God or Allah in a democratic document because Islam, is not compatible with democracy, said by Islamic leaders worldwide, number one. And number two, he ain't too hip on Jerusalem being the capital of Israel, all right? And I don't know if he was, Mark and CJ, part of the Michigan delegation.
They were highly upset.
But I saw interviews with the Michigan delegation, and they're going, we don't want God, and we don't want Jerusalem in there. And Paul Begala and all the foot soldiers of the president were going, well, who are those people? They're just delegates. They don't know. The president loves Israel. The president loves God. You know, all of that nonsense. So now let's go to Wolf Blitzer, this cut. Do we have it?
Yeah, already.
Is it a talkie or is it a silent film?
It's a silency film. So you got to listen to it. We'll come back on after it.
Governor Strickland, Paul Begala, I don't know about you, but to me, it didn't sound like a 2/3 majority.
It sounded like 3/4?
I don't know.
5/6?
I don't know what it sounded like.
99, 100?
At best, maybe it sounded even, if you will. But what do you think?
Beyond awkward. It's embarrassing. It's stupid. It's an unforced error by my party. They don't need them. Look, the Chief Justice of the United States made a mistake with the oath of office. Everybody makes mistakes, even the smartest people and the smartest enterprises.
He's got a lifetime appointment.
That's a great point, King. But I can't defend that. First off, people need to know. The Democratic Party is a pro-Israel party. President Obama has a strong pro-Israel record, and we are a party of people of faith, and we respect and include people who have no faith at all. But we are a people of faith, and we are a party that's strongly pro-Israel. And I'm glad now that they fixed this mistake and that my party's platform reflects that.
Let me let Ari weigh in, because I know you've been watching this very closely.
Yeah, I wish it were that simple, Paul. You know, many Democrat leaders in Congress are pro-Israel. But the problem the Democratic Party has is that grassroots has a fundamental, significantly large bloc that wants to be neutral between Israel and Palestinians. A Gallup poll came out earlier this year and said, are your sympathies more with Israel or the Palestinians? The numbers were 78% of Republicans said Israel, only 53%, a bare majority of Democrats said Israel. 53. That's what you heard on the floor. You heard basically a 50-50 split over the symbolic statement that's been in every platform, even Jimmy Carter's going back in both parties for 30 years, saying Jerusalem is the capital of Israel. 50% of the grassroots of your party opposes Jerusalem being symbolically called the capital of Israel. That's what we heard here. That's what Gallup shows.
First off, it's two things. First off, on the two parties, there is a Ron Paul wing of the Republican Party that is not,
yours.
In my eyes, pro-Israel. They have honorable views. It's fine. They're not my views, and they're not the mainstream Republican views. It's true. Nor are the few extremists in my party who are there. But second, some of this is just mechanical. You have a whip operation. They should have had their people there. The only people who are here at, I don't know, whenever the vote was 5 o'clock.
Exactly. It's philosophical. It's not mechanical. That's the grassroots problem the Democrats have. That's what Gallup shows. Your leadership in the Congress.
Governor Strickland, though, there's more fundamental questions for Governor Strickland. He's the co-chairman of the Platform Committee. Mayor Booker of Newark, New Jersey is a co-chairman of the Platform Committee. How did this happen? You take the platform from the last 4 years ago, you bring it in the room, and you say, do we keep this or do we change this? Somebody had to change it. You had to take the language out. It's not like it mysteriously disappeared.
Do we have any idea who did that?
We can't get straight answers on how that happened. And then the campaign has a responsibility. Often the candidates have nothing to do with their platform. The most liberal activists in your party, the most conservative activists in your party write the platforms, and then the nominees always say, I agree with most of it, not all of it. However, the Democrats made such a big deal of the Republican platform just a week ago. How could they not have been more careful to say, are we walking into a buzzsaw here? That's a great point. The difference is the Republicans did not change their platform because they do want to outlaw a woman's right to choose, even in cases of rape, even in cases of incest. Democrats are the pro-Israel party, and they want their platform to reflect that we believe Jerusalem.
And why did they initially change it? Is the question I think is a great question.
That's a great question, but we know where the two parties stand.
The reason they didn't change it, and the reason they won't give you a straight answer, is because I think the exercise here was to make the platform match the president's positions as clearly as possible. And you remember just a month ago, Jay Carney, the press secretary at the White House, got asked, What is the capital of Israel? He hemmed, he hawed, he ducked, he dodged. That's the problem. They tried to match it to the president. And Wolf knows this from covering the White House. The official policy of the government is that Jerusalem is the capital, and every president for years has issued the executive order saying, well, we're going to wait because this is the subject, the final status. That's the question of where the embassy is. This is not a question of where the embassy is. This is the symbolic question. What's the name of the capital? And for many Jews, that's a profoundly symbolic and important real issue.
You remember
that's where they change the platform.
We gotta go. We're gonna wrap this up. But you remember during the Bush administration,
this is a very. We really want to drive home this point that even CNN is now challenging the president and his functionaries on what the heck is going on. But let's hear from Irma. Irma, are you on the line? You got a quick thought, and we'd like to hear your view.
Yes, Irma, a.k.a. Daisy. Tom?
Yes, Irma.
The debate on the 12th begins at 5 o'clock, not 7. He said 7.
5 o'clock? Oh, man, no. That's early. You know, it's 5 o'clock. But we will be there. Alan and I will be there.
Okay, and, I will be there from 4 on because I met with the guy yesterday. You have to set up your cameras or whatever. I got a perfect place.
Okay. Irma is one of the organizers of the debate. We will see you there. What is your quick thought on the president and his understanding of Jerusalem as the capital of Israel?
God, please. This is the year he wants to be elected, so of course Jerusalem is the capital of Israel. He'll say anything. He'll say, Boston is the capital of Israel.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to get him any votes. But thank you, Irma, and we will be in touch regarding the debate. Folks, that's next Wednesday, the 12th, 5 o'clock at the Broward County Library. Alan Bergstein.
Come early because it's hard to find parking.
Okay, come early. Hard to find parking.
Hard to find the parking
It'll be a lively debate for sure. We've had some interesting ones. Leave your signs home. No signs allowed. But the point we're driving home today, God to the rescue for the Democrat Party. And they dropped the name, they being the Democrat Party, dropped the name of God in Israel, God in Jerusalem, out of the platform. It was rescued last night by the wonderful, clear, definitive voice vote on the floor. But let's dig a little more deeply into this administration. Let's take a look at when the Democratic National Convention wasn't taking place. Let's look at Jay Carney, the press secretary for the president. And you know what? If I had to work for the president, I'd want a tailoring budget for the sweat that's going to be in all of my clothes. If you work for the president, you will be in the middle of sweating constantly because reality goes in one direction and what you have to say goes in another direction, and you sweat like crazy. Watch Jay Carney, the president's press secretary, as he's asked, what is the capital of Jerusalem?
Is this administration considered to be the capital of Israel, Jerusalem or Tel Aviv?
I haven't had that question in a while. Our position has not changed, Connie. Can we...
What's the capital?
You know our position.
I don't.
No, she doesn't know. She doesn't know. That's why she asked.
She does know.
I don't.
She does not know. She just said she doesn't know. I don't know.
Have long. Come on, let's not call on Christy. Go ahead. That conversation.
Tel Aviv or Jerusalem?
You know the answer.
Yeah. We don't know the answer. We don't know the answer. Could you just give us an answer? What do you recognize? What does you recognize?
Our position hasn't changed, Lester. Go ahead.
Position.
Two questions. One.
I think he knows the capital of Canada.
You want to know, ladies and gentlemen, seriously, and for all of those of you who are going to vote, and there's 1 million people of faith, primarily Christians, conservative Catholics, that whole group that haven't bothered to vote in many elections. You're going to be needed to assist Israel because we want all the Jews in Israel to blow them all up. We're going to get to that in a minute. We're going to get to that in a second too. Israel needs Christians to stand by her. And you guys that have not voted for whatever reason, you need to get registered. You need to vote on September 6th. And you got to look at nonsense like Jay Carney, the press secretary of the president, when asked a simple question. What is the capital of Israel? Is it Tel Aviv or is it Jerusalem? And he's stumbling. But you know what, guys? Maybe he needs help from Victoria Nuland, the deputy.
She'll definitely clarify it.
Yeah, Victoria Nuland is a State Department official, and she comes in and clarifies the President Barack Obama's administration's view of Israel.
Yesterday there was a bit of a kerfuffle over an announcement that was made by the Department about the travel of your boss. Is it the State Department's position that Jerusalem is not part of Israel?
Well, you know that
There's a bit of a kerfuffle over an announcement that was made by the Department about the travel of your boss. Is it the State Department's position that Jerusalem is not part of Israel?
Well, you know that our position on Jerusalem has not changed. The first media note was issued in error without appropriate clearances. We reissued the note to make clear that Acting Undersecretary for Kathy Stevens will be traveling to Algiers, Doha, Amman, Tel Aviv, and Jerusalem. With regard to our Jerusalem policy, it's a permanent status issue. It's got to be resolved through the negotiations between the parties.
Is it the view of the United States that Jerusalem is the capital of Israel, notwithstanding the question about the embassy, the location of the U.S. embassy?
We are not going to prejudge the outcome of those negotiations, including the final status of Jerusalem.
Does that mean that you do not regard Jerusalem as the capital of Israel?
Jerusalem is a permanent status issue. It's got to be resolved through negotiations.
That seems to suggest that you do not regard Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. Is that correct?
I have just spoken to this issue, and I have nothing further to say on it. Yeah.
Answer the question, and I think there's a lot of people out there who are interested in hearing a real answer and not trying to duck and say that this has got to be resolved by negotiations between the two sides. What is the capital of Israel?
Our policy with regard to Jerusalem is it has to be solved through negotiations. That's all I have to say on this issue.
What is the capital of Israel?
Our embassy, as you know, is located in Tel Aviv.
So does that mean that you regard Tel Aviv as the capital of Israel?
The issue on Jerusalem has to be settled through negotiations.
Really atrocious. And again, folks, we're banging home the point that this administration, the President Obama administration, is not a friend of Israel. If at their convention they remove Jerusalem and God from their policy statement inadvertently, and we're going to get to the bottom. We're investigating right now who did that.
Who did that? Yeah.
And now the president is claiming, I didn't know anything about it. What do I know about that stuff? I don't mess around with that. Guarantee you, this policy wonk president did not let that platform go out without his approval or Valerie Jarrett's approval, which is his brain, basically. Now, to re-emphasize and to re-establish the position of this administration pre-November 6, 2012, you just heard from his press secretary and his State Department, which could not find the words, Jerusalem is the capital of Israel. They could have said, from the Israelis' point of view, Jerusalem is their capital. They could have at least said that. They can't because they're beholden to the Islamic world. Why? Where did President Obama go on June 4th, 2009? First place to visit. Went to the seat of the Muslim Brotherhood in Cairo, Egypt, and offered his peaceful hand to the Islamic world. That's really paid off real well, with the Middle East exploding and every country around Israel now looking at Israel as an enemy. And
did he go to Israel when he was there either?
Air Force One has a home base there at Israel. I know because I've seen it over there a million times.
Yeah, exactly. From Cairo to Tel Aviv is like, about 17-day walk, okay? You can hitchhike there in a couple of hours. That's how close it is. Yeah. So for all of you that truly believe, whether you're a Republican Christian or a Democratic Jew, truly believe when he's reelected President Obama, then he'll have the freedom to really help Israel the way Israel needs to be helped. Forget about it. Israel's under the bus. Israel's going to be backed over many, many times. If this administration can't find their tongue now, you think when they're unfettered and there's no re-election coming up, that they're going to be Israel's friend. Get with it. It's ridiculous.
Besides what they say, it's what they do. Because they canceled the exercises with Israel and they initiated exercises with the Muslim Brotherhood out of Egypt
military.
instead.
CJ's talking about military exercises were cut back with the United States military, but they were increased with the
our new training partners,
the
the Muslim Brotherhood.
We're going to talk about this guy in a second, okay? I'm going to tell you about that. Let's take Alan, though. We got a call from another Alan. Alan, you're on the line with Tom Trento and everybody else in here.
Hey, Tom, I got an observation. What I think is going on is that the Democratic National Party is leaving Israel and the Jews to wither on the vine.
Oh, that's an interesting metaphor. Why do you say that, Alan?
Well, the Democrats hit Newt Gingrich pretty hard in '96 for that, and now they're doing the same thing to the Jews. And if the Democratic Jews, the Democrats that are rabid Democrats in South Florida, primarily your listening audience, if that does not get them off the fence to realize that they are a disposable asterisk on the platform of the Democratic National Party, then they'll never wake up.
Yeah, and you're right. Thanks for the call. You're definitely right. We are broadcasting out of Boca Raton. There's 800,000 Jewish people in the state of Florida, 500,000 or 600,000 in South Florida, actually within our listening voice, and certainly within the reach of our live stream on TrentoVision.tv. And these folks are going to have to make a decision. And my experience as a Christian Zionist is that a Jewish person will stand with Israel if they're a Zionist. If they're a Zionist first. Zionism means simply Jerusalem is the capital of Israel, okay? If you're a Zionist, you will line up with Israel before your allegiance to a particular party, the Democratic Party. Why? Not just because Israel's a nice place, just for national security reasons alone. And we're going to get into a lot of that, Mark, yeah.
And plus is that if you're a Republican, you're more likely to stand with Israel, as Ari Flatcher was trying to, illustrate in his...
There's been a million studies that the Republicans are more pro-Israel. Yeah, there. Look at that right there, folks. You're making me put my glasses on here.
Yeah.
78%, right?
The Republican Party, 78% support Israel. Oh, where's those other 22%? I know where they're at. They're leftist, crazy people. Yeah. And 53% of Democrats. Right there, folks.
That tells you. I mean, that's the reason that floor voice vote was it. That was about a 50-50 split. That's Pew poll
right
is
there.
verified right there.
Yep, that's perfect.
Poll, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yep. Now, we're waking up the voters in the state of Florida and in other swing states because this is so important, this election. But maybe the answer, ladies and gentlemen, maybe when all hell broke loose, the president called up his point lady in South Florida and said, Debbie, go get me Jerusalem. Put Jerusalem back in the mix. And he commissioned the chairman of the Democrat Party, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, to a congresswoman just a little bit south of where we are sitting right now. He commissioned her yesterday and said, go save this thing, man. Go fix it. Watch Debbie Wasserman Schultz, a South Florida,
off of getting caught in a lie.
Yeah, a South Florida congresswoman who yesterday got caught in a lie regarding what she said about U.S. Ambassador from Israel to the U.S., Michael Oren, great guy, saying that he said stuff he didn't. He had actually read a statement saying, I never said that. Her nose grew about 2 feet. But watch her wonderful articulation of a non-confused issue.
His personal view, and something as significant as amending the platform during the convention, because it was the president's priority, demonstrates yet again that he always has had Israel's back and always will.
And obviously something very much of concern to you. It's a key constituency. You represent a district where you have a number of Jewish American voters. It's very personal to you. We thank you very much for taking the time. Anderson, back to you.
That Israel has never had a greater friend.
I like that feedback.
That is one funky chicken.
This is our favorite chicken.
Zoom in on the
This is our favorite chicken here. Yeah, zoom in on this. Let me hold the chicken like this. This is our chicken. This chicken has traveled with us all over the world and usually winds up in somebody's bed or somebody's meal or something somewhere. We have some comedians that travel with us. But metaphorically, the show today and the situation in America right now is represented by this dead chicken. Israel is dead meat. Israel's a dead chicken right now as it relates to the United States of America for two reasons. Number one, this administration, and we will prove this, folks, as we analyze who the administration is. We've been making a reference to Valerie Jarrett many times. She's the president's really top advisor. Probably not too many people know that Valerie was born, where, anybody know?
Iran.
In Iran. Valerie Jarrett, the president's top advisor, was born in Iran. And, does that mean that you can't be a good person if you're born in a foreign country? Maybe. Particularly Iran, maybe. But we're going to look into that. And we're going to look into other advisors, and we're going to show you an incipient, consistent, anti-Semitic viewpoint in this administration. And but for the U.S. Congress, where there are some Democratic leaders who are pro-Israel, Democrat leaders, and many Republicans, Israel would be in a mess if something broke out today. And we all believe that Israel will attack Iran before the election necessarily. And we'll do shows on that. But here's where Israel is standing. Now, and Debbie Wasserman Schultz has to toe the party line. She's got to fix all the damage and say, the president's a wonderful friend of Israel. Notwithstanding his historic beliefs and his practices. Oh, but he gave money to Iron Dome. I mean, that seems to be well, all that money was already apportioned from George Bush. We'll get into those details. Right now, in other shows, it's great having a daily show. Right now, we just want to establish the mindset during the convention coming out of Charlotte, which is about 600 miles north of here, and what it looks like in South Florida with Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Congresswoman, who's also the head of the Democratic Party, point person for President Obama. Let's take it even more at home. Let's come right down to the street. We're now going to visit the head of the Democrat Party in Palm Beach County. Boca Raton is in Palm Beach County, and it's a huge Jewish population here. You're going to now hear from the head of the Democrat Party. His name is Mark Allen Siegel, and how he views people like myself, an evangelical Christian, and our pseudo-commitment to defending the state of Israel. Watch this. He was caught yesterday at the DNC in Charlotte, actually by a friend of ours.
I'm Jewish. I'm not a fan of any religion other than Judaism.
So you're not a fan of Christianity, who truly tries to protect the Jewish faith?
No, the Christians just want us to be there so we can all be slaughtered and converted and bring on the second coming of Jesus Christ.
Now, wait a minute. Now, where do you get that?
Let me finish. They're not our friends. They want Israel to pursue policies which are antithetical with its security and existence. The worst possible allies for the Jewish state are the fundamentalist Christians who want Jews to die and convert so they can bring on the second coming of their Lord. It is a false friendship. They are seeking their own ends and not ours.
You sound like you're the opposite of anti-Semitic. You're anti-Christianic?
No, I don't believe that the fundamentalists urging a greater Israel are friends of the Jewish state.
Now, do we convert before we die or after? How does that work?
Well, there's two things going on. I want your thoughts briefly. Then we're going to listen to Wes from Brooklyn in a minute. But what's important here is not so much the theology, because I will develop the Christian theology as it relates to eschatology, end times, and how many Christians view the role of Jews, all of that. I'll lay that out for sure in other shows. Those are other shows. Okay. But this is the head of the Democrat Party in Florida, in Palm Beach, taking this view that Christians are useless and enemies. Mark, your thoughts on CJ?
Yeah, I'm going to give you my thoughts from my wife, who's a Democrat. we did the pre-production on this, and we showed her this clip, and she was just aghast. She goes, "Oh my God, how? This is not a Democrat. This is not an open, tolerant person. How can this is my idea of Democrat is open tolerance to homosexuality, to all this other stuff." She goes, "How can this person even be involved in even related to the Democrat Party whatsoever?" She says our party has just gone completely off the rails.
CJ, your thoughts?
They are off the rails. The Democrat Party is the party of hate and intolerance. There's absolutely no doubt about it. They are. This is not the Democrat Party of the 1940s.
I voted for President Kennedy as a little kid,
This is not the heroic party of years gone past, where liberal really meant liberal, open-minded, tolerant, thinking. That party is gone. This is the party of Jeremiah Wright. This is the party of
Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson and the new Black Panther
Wasserman
Party.
Schultz, the Black Panthers, the Hate Everybody Muslims.
Let me sum.
And now we have the Hate Everybody Jews too.
Let me sum it up. It's and again, this show is going beyond typical talk shows. We're gonna dive down into some of the deeper issues, the philosophical issues. One of the presuppositions, fundamental presuppositions of a free society is that you're allowed to think whatever you want, but you must control your behavior. So we allow people to think crazy stuff. When thoughts lead to behavior that's criminal, then we move and stop them. That's a First Amendment right, primarily. So let's say, for the sake of argument, I'll argue differently, but let's say for the sake of argument that Christians want all Jews to be in Israel for some whatever, the end of the world, whatever, okay? So what? What is their behavior? Why are Christians putting themselves on the line in terrible situations many times to help Jewish people? And that, look at their behavior. Forget about what their thinking may be, though, as I said, I'll argue that's not the primary thinking. There are some that may think that way. This guy, who's a liberal, has a priori eliminated him as a legitimate player in the intellectual field of free speech by saying, even if they think that way, I'm opposed to them. What a nitwit. What a complete idiot.
They are unable to... It's clear that this party has become unhinged. They are unable to control themselves in public. Their actions...
I would love to debate this guy.
It's the behavior of out-of-control children is what we are witnessing on the campaign trails at the local level, national,
I'm watching the clock here.
and at the convention.
I would love to debate this guy at some point. But let's hear from Wes first in Brooklyn. Wes, your thoughts on all this insanity?
No, it's not insanity. I agree with all you guys. You definitely share my sentiments. Wish I was sitting there with you guys and participating there. But what I wanted to say, I've been, I'm on Facebook for a while, and I've been really putting out this statement for a while. I don't know that it was from our founding fathers said this, but it basically says if we're not going to be ruled by God, we'll be ruled by tyranny. And
yeah, good point.
I have to start preaching here, I think, because I study Scripture a lot. But the Bible talks about there's nothing new under the sun, and it speaks about man without God brings forth the same result. And I don't know the young lady there who was speaking, but she definitely hit it right out of the ballpark. About the hatred, because there's a difference between godly hatred and ungodly hatred. And when you have ungodly hatred and ungodly anger, what it does, it really blinds you. There's a madness with this. It has no self-control. And so what you're seeing is, I often see when you see somebody, say a conservative, bring in their perspective, and someone that opposes that perspective, usually the one who opposes the conservative perspective loses all self-control. It's almost like they are totally possessed with this hatred. And I would submit to you. Let me get your thoughts on this. I would submit to you.
Yeah, you got just sum it up now, because we got a special surprise for you guys, and then we'll have you. You can call in on another show. We'll have a little more time.
I'd just like to ask this one question, though, and then I'll let you go. I believe the root cause of all this problem is with our colleges and universities, because many of the professors there today are.
Yeah, we need to do a whole show on
that. Yeah, a great point, Wes. Definitely. Thanks for calling from Brooklyn. By the way, are you watching the show or listening?
Yes, I am. But you have to tweak it a little bit, because sometimes you have some problems with going in and out.
Yeah, well, we're working it.
We're working on it. We're working on it. Low budget, man. Duct tape productions. But you donors out there. But in any event, let's go to Ruth. Quick comment from Ruth, and then we got a surprise for our viewers.
Hi, Tom.
Hello, how are you?
Good, good, good. I wanted to make a comment by analyzing Mark Siegel's behavior. He's so anti-Christian. I'm really thinking he's using the divide and conquer methodology from Saul Lindsay's playbook, dividing the Christians against the Jews, the Jews against the Christians. And because they also are dividing the blacks against the whites, and this is their narrative, divide and conquer.
Well, good point. Thank you. And now, are you watching or listening, Ruth?
I'm watching and listening.
Okay. Oh,
hopefully
good.
they'll divide
using
and fall.
Both, two senses.
Two senses.
You're using two senses. You have three more that you can use.
But they're doing that also with the Muslims and the Jews.
All right, let's do this because we have to go. I got my eye on the clock, folks, and we want to get this thing in for you. Thanks, Ruth. Keep watching. Ruth, Wes saw that there seems to be an underlying hatred here. Ruth's view is this may be a tactical move by Mark Allen Siegel, who's the head of the Democrat Party in Palm Beach County, and maybe it's a divide and conquer perspective. What is his view of Israel? Is Israel, to Mark Allen Siegel, a priority? Is that the main issue in this election? For many of us, me included, from a national security perspective, the economy is not the main issue, okay? We have a bunch of people that want to blow up Israel, and if that happens, guess what's going to happen to the economy? Israel is the #1 issue from a national security perspective for the United States of America. Case closed. We'll prove that in the days ahead. But let's listen to Mark Allen Siegel as he wraps up his conclusion in a recent debate against, who was he debating? Me. Yesterday he was.
It's on now.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we're breaking to it.
Okay, here we go. Let's go right to it.
Mr. Q.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
When it comes down to voting, we as Jews have to remember our biblical care for the stranger, to be just to the stranger, to care for the widow and the orphan. Israel is extremely important to all of us, but so is the nature of life in this country. So is the type of society that we are going to be. And as Jewish people, we want a type of society that cares about people, that is fair, and that is just. There is more to this election than merely Israel. I have no qualms about the president's commitment to both preventing Iran from having a nuclear weapon. He's said so. I believe him. Because he has done more than any president to make it impossible for Iran to have such a weapon. But once we get over that hurdle, we have to look at the rest of the platform of the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. The
Do not.
Shut
up. Let's see what he does. Shut up.
Rude.
Neither do you. That's right. That's right. Shut him up. Shut him up. You're rude. You're rude.
Excuse me, please. All right. Everybody can stop arguing with each other. Do not use the word shut up and let this person continue to speak, even if you disagree with them. Thank you.
According to the Talmud, we lost the Second Commonwealth because of causeless hatred among Jews. This conduct, here and in the state of Israel, the price taggers, the assassinations, the mobs that assault children, these are the things that are going to cost us our state in the eyes of God. We must remain faithful to the entire Jewish vision of social justice, of fairness, and of taking care of those around us in a fair and decent way. The Hasmonean Empire destroyed itself by putting people who didn't agree with it to the sword and subjugating its surrounding people and in many cases extirpating them. If we follow that path, we will lose our third Commonwealth. It is upon us to behave properly and to seek peace, chase peace, do everything we can to find peace, because only then do we have any chance of attaining it.
Yes.
I could not disagree more with that statement. Sir, from a military doctrine point of view, you don't fight yesterday's war today. You understand? The issue today is not liberal kindness and wonder. You've got to analyze the jihad that wants to destroy the state of Israel, understand the threat doctrine of the enemy, understand the tenacity, the theological infusion of the 12th Imam from the ruling Ayatollahs. You've got to put all of this together and see this tiny little country surrounded by enemies and fight that war. That's the war you fight today. And that war says there will be no peace in Israel for at least one generation. When Hamas teaches their kids, Barry, how to hate and kill, when Israel doesn't even exist on the map, when that happens, you cannot have peace with a generation that's being raised on hatred. Israel needs to have security, to secure its borders, to secure its people, to secure its military capability. Take a stand and wait this one out. It may take 25 years, 50 years, 100 years, but you cannot give up the fact that Israel, and for my Jewish friends in here, and thank you very much, Barry, for putting this together. You have the blood of Abraham, of Isaac, of Jacob flowing through your veins. The gentleman on the end said there's more issues than Israel in this election. No, there isn't. There's one issue. It's Israel. For the national security of the world. It isn't abortion. It isn't health care. It isn't those things. It's Israel. If you have Abraham's blood in your veins, vote for Israel on November 6th.
Is just pro-Israel enough, ladies and gentlemen, to fool most of the Jews most of the time. He's just pro-Christian enough to fool most of the Christians most of the time, and pro-military enough to fool you veterans most of the time. Get with it. Tune in tomorrow. We're here. Thank God for the truth. See ya.
Thanks for tuning in to Trento Vision, where bad ideas get pulverized and the truth will set you free. Your host, Tom Trento, is an activist street fighter with earned degrees in law enforcement, theology, and philosophy. To